The claim that I will be refuting today is Ramon's claim that universal health care is essential for today's society. I will be refuting this claim by addressing the two main claims presented in the advocate's speech, which are 1, universal health care is essential for today's society, and 2, making health care universal is cheaper. I will respond to this claim through the use of a counterclaim and back up my counterclaim through the use of evidence. In regards to the first claim, universal health care is not essential for today's society. The United States has never had universal health care, and it has not been a problem until recent years. Allowing universal health care will give the government permission to make life-saving decisions about your health, and you do not have any influence on the final decision. According to an article written by Jonathan Cohn for the New Republic, if the government decides a treatment isn't cost-effective, many Americans will be forced to go without it unless they can find a doctor willing to do it for free. In an article written by Joel Roberts for CBS News, the United States is one of the top spenders when it comes to medical research and advancement, spending over $95 billion a year. A major reason for this is because with the development of new drugs and therapies, there is money to be made for medical groups. With universal health care, the government will intervene in these programs, striving to cut down medical prices, and there will be no incentive for these research programs to continue. Proponents of universal health care, like Ramon, love to use the popular 40 million Americans are without health care statistic, among others. But what many do not know is that this statistic is wrong. According to Congressional Budget Office report of how many people lack health insurance and for how long, many are uninsured for only a short amount of time, whether it be between jobs or in times of short-lived financial grief. It is also important to keep in mind that without insurance does not mean without health care. Doctors and medical professionals across the nation, especially in emergency rooms, are required to give their time to anybody who seeks their help, whether they are insured or not. In regards to the second claim, making healthcare universal will not necessarily make it cheaper. There isn't a single government agency or division that runs well, and in a time of such economic turmoil, do we really want a government that cannot control itself and its own economic issues in charge of our healthcare? Free healthcare isn't really free. As taught in economic classes across the country and stressed on the universal healthcare section of balancepolitics.org, there is no such thing as a free lunch. Americans will pay for this so-called free healthcare through an increase in taxes and spending cuts in other important areas like education. So we'll be healthier but asinine because of it. It may be cheaper for those who do not take care of themselves, but healthy people like you and I will have to pay for those who are reckless with their health and will take advantage of the system. In closing, healthcare is a service that other people provide, and usually their ability to do so has cost them money and time, therefore it cannot be free. Universal healthcare will cause more problems than it will solve, and therefore should not be made a part of our society.
All right, the proposition and the secondary claims are pretty clearly labeled. You're going primarily for counterclaims. I think you could probably analyze the advocate's point on the first point a little bit more. On the one thing that you did do a good job on that definitely addresses an issue that the advocate brought up, and that's that 40 million people without health care. I thought you had good counterclaims on that, explaining why that is not a particularly reliable figure. Then the other points on that seem to suggest about what what the potential disadvantages are of adopting a universal health care system. Some of those might be applicable to the benefit that the advocate's talking about here on the first point, but other issues are really disadvantage arguments to a policy claim, and so they would be more relevant in another context rather than here. On the second point, there's a very clear transition to that second point, and the cost argument is made. It's very general in nature, and since there's no analysis of the issue that the advocate had from their cost containment issues and those sorts of things, we're basically got a situation where we've got dueling claims here, and without a lot more data or a lot more analysis of why the other side's claims are not supportable or their reasoning is insufficient, it's hard to reach a conclusion there. I did like the summary, though. It was a very effective way to finish the argument. I think it puts emphasis on the point that you're trying to make. Your delivery would be enhanced a little bit with some audience contact, but I thought that there was a nice forceful style in the way you're presenting it, just a little too much reading. Thank you.